Hey GED students, it's GED question of the daytime, and I kind of have a little warning for you on this problem, and that is, this is as challenging as this subject gets. So you're kind of jumping into deep water on the subject of lines. If you've never talked about lines before, I don't suggest that this is the first video that you start with. Go back and go through the playlist in order, and you'll be a happier person if you go through, again, that points, slope, and graphing lines playlist, or the points, slope, and graphing lines chapter in your virtual textbook. Go through those first and you'll feel a lot better about this topic. But anyway, that's my warning. Here we go. Okay, it says find the equation of the line that runs through the origin and is parallel to the line, all of that jazz. Okay, so they told me to find an equation of a line. Let's remember that when I'm told to find the equation of the line, that means my answer is going to be in the form of an equation of a line. Now, these equations are on your GED formula sheet. You don't have to have them memorized, but you do have to know how to use them. The most common equation of a line form that we use is what's known as the slope-intercept form. And I've written it down for you here before, y equals mx plus b. But right now, where it's all letters, this is the generic form of any line. In order to turn it into a specific line, what you have to do is turn m and b into specific numbers. Remember that the m stands for slope, and you should be marking up your formula sheet right now if you don't know this. And the b stands for y-intercept. You know, mathematicians aren't that crazy or that creative. We call it the slope-intercept form because when we look at it, we can see two things: the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so that's the form my answer is going to be in. It's going to be in the form y equals mx plus b with a specific number for m and a specific number for b. Okay, now look, we've been given some information here. First of all, we see that our line runs through the origin. It runs through the origin, meaning wherever our line is in space, it's crossing right through that center point of a graph. That origin is the point 0, 0. So by saying it runs through the origin, they're actually slipping in the fact that our line goes through the point 0, 0. Okay? And we also know one more thing. We know that our line is parallel to this line. Now careful, that doesn't mean that this is our line. This is not our line. But our line is parallel to that one, meaning our line and that line basically... I always want to talk about parallel in a different way. The main way we talk about parallel in math class is saying that these two lines never run into each other. But that's not very helpful in the context of graphing. So what I want you to see here is that if two lines are parallel, they are decreasing or increasing at the same rate, meaning they have the same slope. That's the thing you need to understand. Parallel lines have the same slope. You just need to know that for the GED. So look at the slope of this line. Remember that the slope, the m, is always the number multiplying with x. If the slope of this line is 2/3, guess what? My line is parallel. My line will also have a slope of 2/3. So cool. I have half of the information I need. I have my m, but the problem is I don't currently know my b. So before I plug into my formula, I am going to have to find b. How do you do that? Now, there's actually a couple different ways, but I'm going to do it this way because this is my favorite. I'm going to start with the y equals mx plus b formula, and I'm going to plug in what I know. Well, I know the m, I know an x value, and I know a y value. If I know m, x, and y, and I can plug those numbers in, I can use this formula to solve for b. Let's give it a try. 0 is equal to 2/3 times 0 plus b. Something really good is going to happen here. Now, as I'm working this problem, I'm realizing that I'm doing it the hard way. There's an easier way to think about it, but that's okay. Good math always works. I'll explain to you what I mean in a second. So I simplify here, and I find out that my b is equal to 0, and I'm like, duh, Kate, duh. You should have known that. You know why? Because, hello, if I'm running through the origin, my y-intercept would be the origin. Y-intercept is the place where your line crosses the graph. Of course I crossed at 0, 0. So of course my y-intercept is 0. Anyway, that's okay. Even if I did it the long way, I still got the right answer. Let's plug into this sucker. So now, to find the equation of a specific line, this time I'm just going to plug in the m and the b. So y is equal to, the m I found was 2/3 x, and the b I found was 0. Now this is actually true, y is equal to 2/3 x plus 0, but it's a little silly, because why would you bother to add 0? Mathematicians are super duper lazy. They know that adding 0 does nothing, and so they never bother to write the plus 0, and they would just write y is equal to 2/3 x. Great. If you felt like that was a hard video and you jumped into deep water, you did. Like I said, this is the culmination of an entire unit, so you should go back and check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. But if you legit have any questions about this topic, you've been following along and you're still confused, drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to do my best to answer them.